Hi everyone, it's Jen from JenPlans, and I'm going to be doing a walkthrough of my 2015 Erin Condren Life Planner. 2015 was a big year for my family. We bought a house in a new state. I changed planners a few times, all Erin Condren, but different layouts, so you'll see some of that in here. So I'm going to share some things that worked for me, some things that didn't work for me, some things that I wish I would have done, and some things that I'm doing differently for this year. So I will jump right in. The first thing is the cover. A friend of mine, the friend that introduced me to Erin Condren Life Planners back in like 2011, ordered this as her first cover, and I always loved it, but I didn't want to get the same one as her. So I finally ordered it last year, and I'm so glad that I did because I think this cover is discontinued now. And I'm glad that they're interchangeable, so I'm going to be able to save that for future planners. And then also, I was never much of a band person because my planner just sat on my kitchen counter for a very long time, but I started taking it places here and there, and it was really helpful to have this band to keep everything together. Plus, it's adorable. This is from Rainbows and Pixie Dust. So that is the kind of the outside of the planner. In the beginning, in the opening, I used to have a full dashboard of sticky notes years ago, and I changed it. I changed it this year just to have this one. I think this is called a laptop Post-its or laptop sticky notes. It's made by Post-it, and there are sticky notes back here. But I probably will take that out, but I keep my Polaroid zip info in there, just little things that I probably don't need to carry around, but I did. And then I just kept, I didn't realize that was still in there. A note, I wrote to my husband, he wrote something back, so I just kept it dorky like that. The year at a glance, the 2014-2015, this I was just testing out the new stickers from Chrissy Ann Designs because she's going to be coming out with transparent tiny dots very soon, which is super exciting. But I love having this for my kids' school calendar. So I kind of did a code, no school, early dismissal, and then a program. Because I always, you get the calendar in the beginning of the year and you kind of always forget, but you don't want to fill things in very far in advance. Anyway, I used my year at a glance for that. And that is something I will be doing again this year because I loved having it here. Other ways that people use this, the other biggest way that I've seen is to do a different goal each month. Like you write the goal above the month and then you kind of cross off days like no sugar or a no spend, or you work out every day, or you purge your kids' playroom, which I still haven't done. But different challenges for every month. I've also seen ladies use this to track their cycle if they're trying to conceive or trying not to conceive. And then also I have some friends who use this to track sick days, vacation days, etc. for work if you're working in a job that gives you time off. So it's great. It can be really used for anything, but for a very long time, really up until the last few years, I never used a page like this. I just used it for reference, but it's so great to have a purpose for it. So don't forget to max out the use of your planner. This was my first, this is the other problem that I had. I was so overwhelmed with different ideas of how to use the monthly that I just didn't for many months. I put some bills on the side. I had been using it as a general overview, but then I just kind of, so many people had great ideas, use it for money, use it for workouts, use it for meal planning, use it for memories. And I just did none of that. I just did nothing because it just was too overwhelming. I couldn't decide. And then for 8 months, I didn't use it at all. So that was kind of a bummer. And I wish I would have. So that has changed for this year, which I'll show you as we get later on because I started doing it at the end of this year. But my January was sad, my monthly. Then we went to the first week of the year, the last week of 2014 and the first part of 2015. And I decided to just do big, bright colors. I don't really pick colors based on any specific theme, although lately I've been doing some holiday themes, but for a very long time in the past I would just kind of pick whatever colors stuck out to me when I was doing my planner. I also have gone back and forth between covering up, which is now in the new planners a thankful thought, but in the old planners for the 2015 year used to be just a calendar, which I actually really like having. So I bounced back and forth between using a flag with some separated to-do lists there and just leaving the calendar. My sidebar always is the same. It's to-do list and then places I need to go. And then here's a good example, people I need to call or contact. And then I love using these. Chrissy Design sells these to kind of mark, I got a speeding ticket, to kind of mark things that I really need to kind of focus on. So I don't have a separate place for those things. For me personally, and this might not be the case for everybody, but for me personally, if I start separating things out too much, I lose track of them. So I just keep everything together and then highlight, not literally, but highlight in a way things that are important that I need to do. So again, for some people, they like having it all separated. For me personally, I will lose track of things if they're not in a specific place that I always look every week, and that has kind of become my routine. It's like out of sight, out of mind for me. So that's kind of how I operate. So this is the first week. The second week I kind of went with more of the traditional January colors. And a lot of people have asked, I get this question a lot, why do you check something off and cross it off? And you'll see that some things I have checked off, but not crossed off. So I check something off when I have made progress on a task. So probably this one, I paid the ticket and just didn't send it in. I'm sure I eventually sent it in, but I'll check it off if I made some progress. It will be completely crossed off when it's totally done. Call is another good example. If I have a check mark, but it's not crossed off, that usually means I've called and left a message, but I haven't heard back yet, and I have not resolved the thing that I needed to resolve. So for me, the system works, but I do get questions about that a lot. I also occasionally will mark off my weekend. A lot of times I'll do that if my husband is not traveling through the weekend. Like you'll see here, I did it because it will feel like a weekend. It will be a traditional weekend. But I didn't here because he was traveling. It's not a hard and fast rule. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But he was traveling this week and he got home very late that Saturday night. So it just, I don't know, didn't really feel like a weekend until Sunday. So that was that week. Again, like more of a color scheme this week, but not so much this week. And that's just kind of how, I don't know, it changes from week to week. I don't really have a system. I usually use down here to mark either my husband's travel or if somebody's staying with us. So here my mom was here, which was so great. My husband traveled here, so I didn't want to overlap that. So I just put that at the bottom. I love these. These are also from Chrissy Designs, which is probably my favorite sticker shop, and I use everything from her. And it's just great because it doesn't take up a lot of space, but I can still see that like he was on a road trip here. If I use the airplane washi, that's because he was flying somewhere. So just to have a visual of when he's gone is nice. Again, a monthly page that I did not use. I didn't even check off the bills that I paid. I wrote them in. I don't know. I think I just didn't look here very often. So it got unused. This was awful. My kids were sick all this week, so I just put a big strip of washi tape to mark their temperatures. We had, as you can see, a lot of doctor visits and prescriptions. It was not a great week for our family. February, again, kind of with a color theme. I don't like being too restrictive. I've tried that before, and it stresses me out too much trying to pick. Like this week, I used pink everything. And it was really fun, and I like looking back at it, but it was kind of stressful to try and pick every single thing that matched. And as much as I love to decorate, primarily my planner is functional and not necessarily decorative for me. So I don't know. It was really fun for a one-time thing, but I don't think that I will be doing like major hardcore color schemes again. And you'll see another week in here, my rainbow week, that I kind of did the same thing and it blew up the same way. So just lots of travel. These are another month that I didn't use. This is when I tried to go, did I skip one? Did I skip one? Maybe not. No. This is when I tried to go Team Black Ink, Lakin. If you follow Plan with Lakin, you should. She's wonderful. I used a black Papermate flare, and it was so weird. It was just very weird. Normally I use a blue Pilot G2 07. And I used a black Papermate flare. Anyway, it was very different and fun. Things stood out in a totally different way. But of course, I went back to my blue Pilot G2. But this was a week. I don't remember what happened here. I think, this is the week was this the week we moved? This might have been the week that we moved, I think. And so all my stuff was packed up. So I cut up all the different Erin Condren stickers into flags, into arrows, into little triangles, and I kind of just used everything that I had in my planner to mark different things for the week. So that's why it looks a little bit different. And then once we got settled, I had all my stuff back out. It was my husband's birthday. But everything's pretty much the same. Sidebar, to go, to call. I do like using to-do list stickers. That's from Stickers, Washi, and More, which I also love. And so is a lot of the St. Patty's Day stuff. Those are all from her, and the laundry. I don't know. I don't really go crazy overboard for St. Patrick's Day. I'll do a few things here or there, or really for any holiday. Because again, my planner is more functional, and if I'm not putting things in that I need to be seeing, then I usually am out doing things, and I don't know. My brain gets too overwhelmed when things are totally decorated. I know for some people who are more, but I'm also not a very super creative person. So for people who are more creatively minded, it really helps them to have that. For me, I'm not that person. So it's just all about what works for you. More travel, more road trips. We went to Nashville that weekend. Another time that I did not use. Oh, I think I tried to start marking in when my kids had doctor appointments and dentist appointments to kind of cross-check with our insurance to make sure that everything was going well, but that didn't last very long. I think I only did that in April. It's hard to find something that really works for you, and it is a lot of trial and error. So these are just the rest of the weeks. Everything's kind of laid out the same way. Lots of travel. Another month that I did not use. Rough color schemes. Sometimes I'll just pick a tape that I like, a washi tape pattern, and then I'll mix my stickers around the washi tape pattern. So instead of picking colors that you like and then trying to find a roll, you find the roll and then kind of mix and match. Well, this one was kind of fun, actually. This is kind of the exception to the rule. I don't know why, but this one felt really easy for me to do. And then we left for Chicago, and we were in Chicago for this whole week. So some stuff just did not get filled out. If I'm on the road, I really don't. Or if I don't have set plans and just kind of fly by the seat of my pants. My parents came in town this week. This is Memorial Day, so this is sometimes how I mark a day off. Or like we were home all day. I don't know, I'm very visual, so I like seeing like, okay, this whole entire day we were home, I used a full strip of washi. If my husband's working a full day on a weekend, I'll do washi down the sides as well. Another month I did not use. And then we get to June. June is when the new planners came out, and I decided to switch to, I did not use this at all because then I was like, I don't want to waste my stickers. So I used a few, and then I jumped to the horizontal layout. So this is the first time I changed layout planners in years, and I really loved so many things about it, but after living in it for about a month, it didn't work the way that my brain did. And a planner is so personal, it has to work for you. So I realized pretty quickly that it wasn't going to work for me because I felt like I didn't know where to put things. Like I kind of could put calls in places I need to go here in my to-do list down here. But I like having that in the beginning of my week. Even initially I thought I would want to move that to the other side, and I'm glad that it's on the left side now. But I don't know. I still used little teardrops to mark reminders for things that I had to bring or do for an event. I liked having things sectioned off, but I couldn't, like, I would look at a day and it would just feel very lost to me. So again, it has to work for you. Things that spanned several days, I kind of used washi tape to mark. This was our Atlanta meetup. It was so much fun. But in the end, it just was not something that helped me feel organized. And that was really the most important thing for me, is to feel organized. In August, I started using my planner as a general overview. When school started, when my husband was traveling, when my parents were going to be here, when we were traveling, and it was so much better. I love when I sit down to plan my week, I look at the year in advance. Well, you saw it in the beginning with all the different months. And then I look at the monthly and I can see like, okay, the open house for my kids, or they have a program, or they have early release. And that's how I plan my week out now. And so that's been a good way to kind of draw my attention back to the monthly layout, because otherwise I really just didn't have a reason to look. Also, I didn't rip them out. I snipped them and put them in. So that's how I did not recoil, because for just a few pages, it did not seem worth it. So anyway, I switched back to the vertical for August, and it felt so much better. It just felt like home. So then I was very happy for a few months. Did not think that I was going to change at all. And then the hourly came out, road washi for road trips. I love decorative washi tape, but I also love, I love functional. I don't know. I think it's because I am so visual. kind of used September, but not really. This was the rainbow. This is my kid's first week of school. I tried a rainbow week, and it was so overwhelming to try and, sounds ridiculous to say that, but it was very overwhelming to try and pick colors that went. And then I was like, oh, I have this. I should have switched those, and I did the wrong backpack color, and that just stressed me out because if it's a rainbow, I want everything to be the exact same. And taking the time to find every single thing it took way more time than I wanted to spend. Typically for me, I spend about a half an hour on the weekend planning and then about 10 minutes every night filling out the next day. I did go gold for childhood cancer in September. That was one theme that I was happy to do, and I didn't care that it took more time because it was so important to raise awareness, which so many people did. There were tons of fundraisers. If you've been a part of the planning community, you saw all of that happen in the fall, and it was just it was a great highlight of what this community is capable of. So I kind of wove gold through all of my weekly spreads in September. I also did, was this the week that I did teal and purple for thyroid cancer awareness as well? And then October was really when I kind of stepped up with the monthly overview, and I used my zip photo printer. When did I get that? I think I went and put that back after the month was over. But I love having it this way because I can see travel, I can see our big events, I can see the things that are recurring, and that way I don't forget them. Because so many people say, how do you not forget something that's coming up? And it's because I put it in my monthly calendar. So this was September going into October. This is the week we were back in Chicago. Oh wait, no we weren't. When did we leave? We left that Wednesday, so this was kind of just a hodgepodge. And then we were in Chicago this whole week. I bought this at Target. I was so happy to find this fall washi tape. And I did like a half size at the top. This week, I don't even know what happened. I think I was just so overwhelmed trying to get back into our groove that we did not really do anything. November monthly calendar. This is when I got the zip printer, the Polaroid zip printer. So you can basically take pictures on your phone, use the Polaroid zip app and print out pictures. It is the coolest thing, and I love having it. So this was Halloween week. And then we went into the rest of November. It's so nice. It's so nice having pictures of my kids because even now looking back, even though this was only a few months ago, they still look older to me. And then to go into call, if I need something to be a lot smaller, if my list is a lot bigger, I would just use stickers at the bottom instead of breaking the list out. Also, another thing that I love to do is using these teeny tiny little dots. These are from Chrissy Designs to mark meds for my kids. I think this is a week that like all my kids had ear infections. I'm pretty sure I probably had a sinus infection or something going on. So I can use different colored dots for different medications because it's just so hard to keep. Like, did I give them their stuff? Did I forget? So I do AM meds and PM meds. The other thing that I like to do that you'll see on a lot of my spreads is on the very top I put a teardrop, and this is usually for something that I need to remind myself to do or bring before we go somewhere. So in this case, it's for school. My daughter had the class dog, not real dog, it's like a stuffed dog. And then also I had to bring address. I don't remember what it was for, but I had to bring something that day. So I really love having that so that I don't forget things. Because if I just make it a reminder, I'll lose sight of it. It has to be something that will stick out to me. Our journal was due, the library book was due, so I keep those there. And then this was really the rest of the year because after Thanksgiving was over, I'll talk about this. This must have been the last week that I used it because then my hourly came. So this was Thanksgiving week. I love my bookmark from Our Love. And a lot of people write on theirs. I use mine with sticky notes. I put sticky notes on mine, and that's kind of how I use it. So it's great because it's tabbed and it will just snap right in and out. It's I would say, I don't know, it's about as thick as a cover, maybe a hair thinner. So it's really easy to snap in and out. But I love having it there. Actually, I need to put that in my new one. I've been missing that. And then this was the rest of Thanksgiving week. And then I had December, which I kind of like I didn't even really use this because I switched everything over to the hourly. And I started removing some stickers, and there was I was playing around with the stencil from Happy Place Planning. That was when my stencil first came. I didn't transfer those over or this week. I was so mad at myself, but I did for this week. And then everything kind of went into the new hourly planner. So I didn't really use the rest of it. And the other thing, it was kind of the same as the monthly layout. It took me forever to decide what I wanted to use my notes pages for that I did not use them. Isn't that terrible? So this year I'm committed to using them. I did have my monthly task list, which the last whole, like basically quarter of the year I didn't use. But this is my list of monthly tasks. And then I didn't even look at all these. I should take these out and recoil them. I should have taken them out. So anyway, that was the rest of the actual planner pages. I didn't use a lot of, oh, then Buffy. Oh, I did love Buffy. That was so sweet. This is my meal planner, which I need to transfer out. Also from Our Love. I didn't really use a lot of the stickers. I used some of these stickers. In this, I've taken them out, but in this pocket folder, I keep the stickers that I use most frequently. Weather stickers, church stickers, little icon stickers, basically anything that I'm probably going to reach for this week, I keep here so that if I'm kind of on the run, I have something there that I can use quickly. And then at the very end, in this side, I kept all of my invitations. So if I would get a wedding invitation or a bridal shower invitation or any kind of invitation, birthday party invitation, it would always go in this pocket folder because I'm so bad about losing them. So I would always keep them here, even though I would put them in. An invitation has so many more details than what you would see just on a regular calendar page, especially location or any special instructions, directions. So I would always keep those there. And then I have never really used my zipper pouch, but I keep it in there. Probably should take it out. But I know the second I take it out, I'm going to want to use it for something. So I just left it in there. So that's it. That was my planner for 2015. Thanks so much for watching. And hopefully I'll be back with a plan with me in the hourly very soon. I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.